All right, what's good? What's good, man? Let's get into it, man. Now, this is my second Deshaun. This is my third Deshaun Watson video, and I think this is like my third Deshaun Watson video within 2 weeks, and this is my second Deshaun video back to back. People are gonna be thinking I'm a Browns fan. I'm not a Browns fan. I have nothing against the Browns. I actually like the Browns. I started following the Browns around like 2018 when you guys drafted Baker Mayfield because I'm an Oklahoma Sooner fan. So I know a lot about your roster and Kevin Stefanski and stuff like that. So I know a lot about the Browns. And, honestly, I really don't I hate the Bengals and I hate the Steelers. And I like the Ravens and I like the Browns. And anytime you beat those two teams, I'm very happy. So shout out to the Browns for beating the Bengals week 1 or whatever week it was. But let's talk about it, man. Deshaun Watson, man, is out for the year due to a shoulder injury. I think he's over. I think he just had a shoulder injury. So he just needs shoulder injury. He's out for the rest of 2023, man, unfortunately. Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson will undergo season-ending surgery to repair a fracture in his throwing shoulder, silencing their franchise quarterback once again. I'm not going to read this whole article, but Deshaun Watson's out with another shoulder injury. Now, this is very heartbreaking for Browns fans, obviously, because you guys were 6-3, and you came off probably one of the biggest wins in the season, beating Baltimore in Baltimore, beating a division rival. That game was going to matter so much, especially when it came to who's going to win the division and playoff seeding. And considering that that the Baltimore beat you at your home, you guys went to their home and beat them. And that was a good game too, man. I was watching the fourth quarter of that game. That was a very good game. Deshaun Watson looked good. Deshaun Watson been looking good the last 3 games he's played. Unfortunately, every game that he's played that he's looked good in, he's gotten injured. He's got injured. I just have a question for Browns fans, and I have a question for just honestly about Deshaun Watson. Is this the end? Is this really the end? Because anytime he starts catching steam, anytime, last 3 games he's played in fully, I think against the Titans, he threw for over 289 yards, I think 2 touchdowns. Against the Cardinals, smoked them. I think he had like 219 for 2 to 3 touchdowns. And then had that comeback win against the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore, threw for 214 yards. He threw for 214 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I think he rushed for a touchdown too. He was starting to catch steam. The Browns were starting to catch steam. Then, bam, shoulder injury, out for the rest of the year. Is this the end for Deshaun? Listen, look. I always liked Deshaun and Clemson. I always thought he was one of my favorite players to watch before the whole thing happened. Then he came back. I'm like, you know what? The Cleveland Browns roster is good. Kevin Stefanski is good. The defense is great. It's amazing. Top 5 in the league. Besides maybe Baltimore and the Steelers and the Niners. You guys are probably still top 5 because I will take you over the Cowboys Cowboys defense because the Browns are more consistent. And I'll take the Browns defense over the Eagles defense. Because let's be for real, the Eagles are literally on Jalen Hurts' arm or bust because that Eagles defense is beyond horrible. So the Browns defense is top 5. But you guys are not doing anything with PJ Walker. I'm sorry. You guys are not doing anything with PJ Walker out there. He is trash. The only reason why you guys beat the 49ers with PJ Walker is because Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel both got injured. They both got injured. If Deebo and Christian McCaffrey are out there, they at least score 2 touchdowns, which means PJ Walker's 2 interceptions himself doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything. And then when Deshaun got injured again against the Colts, PJ Walker sucked. He sucked. And wasn't he out there for the Seattle game too? He sucked in that game too. Browns, this sums up your franchise. You guys can never catch a break. You guys start catching steam. You beat the Baltimore Ravens. You're on a 2-game winning streak. Deshaun Watson looking like, okay, Deshaun's making throws here and there. He still makes dumb decisions, which I don't know why. Still holds on to the ball too long. But Deshaun, stats are looking good. He's looking good, getting mobile, making plays. Bam, shoulder injury. We might have to consider Deshaun Watson, he just might not be that guy anymore. And listen, I try to give him an excuse. People give me so much crow and just give me so much, just so much of it for defending Deshaun, trying to say, he still has something in him on the field. But I can't defend the injury, bro. I can't defend this injury. You are catching so much steam. You're throwing for over 200 yards. I think Deshaun was like 19 for like 31 or 19 for 30, which doesn't look good, but at the same time, completed 19% of the passes. And by the way, and shout out to one of my subscribers. I forgot his name. I'm forgetting his name. I think he has a Nick Chubb profile. One of my Browns subscribers. He even said Deshaun and Amari Cooper they were looking like that. Deshaun and Amari Cooper connection is looking very good. But unfortunately, he's out for the year with a shoulder injury. When are we going to sit here and just say, you know what? The injuries on top of the inconsistent play, maybe Deshaun just can't be that guy anymore. Like, Deshaun still has flashes of greatness here and there, a la the last 2 games he played and the Titans game. But at the same time, these injuries, bro, like, you can't make it up. You can't make it up. This Browns team in the AFC is one of the most talented teams in the AFC. Besides the Chargers, who are not doing anything, besides Jacksonville, who, they're still up and down, especially after last week. And I can't even think of another talented team in the AFC. Besides the Ravens are very talented, at least on defense. On offense, it's, hit or miss. The Steelers are very talented, but Kenny Pickett's a bum. The Browns are one of the most talented teams in the AFC. I really can't think of any other. Okay, the Dolphins. Okay, the Dolphins are probably the most talented team in the AFC. But the Dolphins can't beat real competition. Honestly, I would take the Browns over the Dolphins in the playoffs, especially if it's in Cleveland. Bills are not really. The Bills are talented, but they're so dysfunctional right now. You can't trust them. The Chiefs are Mahomes or bust. I can't think of anybody else in the AFC right now. The Bengals, I hate the Bengals, but the Bengals are literally Joe Burrow or bust. And honestly, when Joe Burrow is not clicking, they suck. So at the end of the day, the Browns are one of the most talented teams in the NFL. But once again, this has to go back to Deshaun. Deshaun cannot stay healthy. I think this is not his first time having shoulder problems. He had shoulder problems at the beginning of the year with the Titans. And I guess that whole rumor about him not wanting to play towards the beginning of
I think after the Titan game was obviously a lie. Clearly his shoulder's messed up, and he needs to have season-ending surgery to get it fixed. But listen, Browns. Listen, I like, the Browns, I actually like y'all, especially every time you beat the Bengals and Steelers. I actually like y'all. You and the Ravens, you guys are on my good side now. But at the same time, you guys have to face the facts. Maybe trading for Deshaun was a mistake. Because the off the field stuff is done, it's over with. But at the same time, these injuries, you can't make an excuse. He has to have surgery on his throwing shoulder. I know quarterbacks come back from that, but at the same time, that doesn't concern you a little bit. So anytime he has a 200-yard game and starts balling out, you have to be worried about his shoulder being messed up and being out for a game or two, or having another season-ending surgery. Maybe, I don't know, Browns. I don't know what to tell you because, you're too talented to get one of these quarterbacks in the NFL draft unless you trade up. And, you can't get a backup. You can't get a decent backup anywhere. Josh Dobbs went to the Vikings. Tyrod Taylor's with my Giants injured. Mitchell's with the Colts. Jacoby Brissett, I think I forgot what team he's on. But I know he's signed somewhere. Like, you can't get a decent backup, and you can't get a quarterback now. But maybe it's time to, reevaluate this whole Deshaun thing. But let me know your thoughts, man. Cleveland, I'm sorry. I was trying to big you guys up, but it's the end. Maybe you guys can root for a wild card and maybe get in there. But other than that, man, GG's on the season. That's my thoughts. What are yours? RJ out.